Hi again. Let's talk research again. This is something that's going to be an ongoing process throughout the semester. You've got 5 major essays to do, but at the same time you're working bit by bit by bit on producing a good research paper. So I just want to make sure you understood things like these updates that are going to be happening here. So just a reminder, you have 5 sections to the paper. The big picture is you got 5 parts of the paper. Why you picked a topic, what you knew before you started, and then the research itself. And then 4 is a summary of what you said, and then 5 is what's ahead for you. Okay, so that's on page 94. Down near the bottom it says there are going to be some required updates for you to submit. And I say if you do them faithfully, if you keep on with these updates, you'll be fine. The paper will assemble itself, basically. So it's really important that you do that. So let's do this. Let's go over to page 97. And I wanted to talk about these updates and how each one gets a little more involved because you're beginning to find more and more information. So here we go, page 97. You've got 8 of those updates there. Number 1 was just what's your topic? What are you thinking about doing? I said be specific. And we talked about that the other day. Make sure you don't take on something too big. So you want something very focused. I'll try to help you if I think it's going to eat you alive by being too big. So you want something that's focused. Where do you plan to get your information? Please keep in mind, one of the ways I grade this paper is how varied your information is. In other words, I don't want 10 times to see that you just Googled. There are a lot of other ways to get information. I'm asking you to find one academic journal, and you can do that through the Palomar College Library. I hope you can go online. I hope you can do an interview or two. So I'm looking for books, magazines. I'm looking for a wide range of material that you're able to gather. So it says, where do you plan to get your information? Anticipate problems. You'll run into problems. You'll run into dead ends, or you'll run into something that will frustrate you, but that's part of good research is how do you get around these problems. So that was your first update. And then number 2, I'm asking you to gather, to start getting your sources. I said find 3 sources. They might be a person, it might be in the library, it might be a book, whatever it is, and tell me what they are. So that's research update number 2. Remember, these occur different times during the semester. Don't do them all at once. And then number 3 is for your first source. So now I'm assuming you've actually found a source. Turn in a summary or a paraphrase of the information you found. I said it should be at least a typed page. Okay, so we're talking about quite a bit of information. So this is your first source. So it says summarize or paraphrase. Remember, we talked about the difference between those 2 things. A summary is basically taking, let's say it's a 10-page article. It's taking those 10 pages and collapsing them down to, let's say, around a page. Okay, that's summarizing. It's taking a lot of information and shortening it. Paraphrase means you found a paragraph or 2 or 3 that are so good you don't want to leave anything out, and you just rewrite it in your own words. Don't just put the original paragraph that you found and make that your research paper and just put quotation marks around it. Do you see the problem with that? If you're quoting big chunks of your research, it doesn't look like you're doing any thinking. You're just grabbing pieces of a book, pieces of a magazine, pieces of a website, and slapping it together and saying, here's my research paper. That's not good research. You're supposed to be thinking. I want critical thinking skills to show up here. So if you find something that's good and you want to use a lot of it, you've got to translate it into how you think and how you would write. Otherwise, be careful, because you can get into problems with plagiarism. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in the semester, but plagiarism is where you don't quote it. What you do is you change a word here and you change a word there and call that a paraphrase. That's not a paraphrase. You're still stealing the author's style, so be really careful. So make sure you change it into your own style of writing. So that's your first source. Then look at update number 4 for your second source. Summarize or paraphrase the information, and notice what's added this time. Add an evaluation. So remember, for every one of your 10 sources, when you get ready to turn the paper in, every source has to have how you found it, the information that you found, and an evaluation of it. So now I'm asking for the first time in update number 4 to put an evaluation in there to show me that you can evaluate. If you've got questions about what would you do? How do you evaluate those kinds of things? I've got some information for you here, if I can find the page number. Okay, it's on 104 and 105. So look at 104 and 105, especially 105, because it talks about evaluating especially online sources. So I am asking you to go ahead and evaluate for the first time. So that's research update number 4. Number 5, do you see what I'm doing? I'm just saying keep going, get some more sources together. So it says for your third and your fourth source. So now as the semester moves along, you should be gathering more information. Number 6 says do it for your fifth and your sixth sources. Number 7, we'll worry about that later on. And number 8, doing the outline. So we'll do those things later. But I hope that makes sense as far as doing these research updates. If you stay on it, and I know it's going to be tempting to just kind of put it aside, but if you'll keep up with every one of those updates, you're basically building your paper a piece at a time, the research paper. So that way when it's finally due, it's not overwhelming. You've already got the pieces of it. So the main thing is go take a look. I've got some samples on Canvas. Take a look at some of my sample research papers. And these are from different students, different semesters. And you'll see the structure. You'll see how they found the source. You'll see their information. You'll see where they evaluated it. You'll see their summary at the end. You'll see things like works cited, which we'll talk about another time. So I'm just trying to use this as a way to really encourage you to march down throughout the semester as you put piece by piece together for this research paper. But feel free, email me anytime you have a question about it. Okay, thank you.